Hey everyone, this is Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today we're discussing, are Google ads worth it for your small business? What are the effective strategies for directing Google ads traffic to Amazon listings? I'll get these two straight. How can off Amazon traffic be enhanced through Google Ads? And what are some of the common pitfalls that we have to avoid? All right, welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
All right, today we are going to be discussing Google Ads, and are they worth it for your small business? Our guest is the CEO of StubGroup. StubGroup has generated over $500 million in revenue for their clients across many different platforms. He's also taught digital advertising to over 100,000 students via online courses. And the videos he produces through StubGroup YouTube channel have received millions of views. And today, I can't mess this name up, John Horn. But before we get to John, we'll have a quick word from our sponsor. And I guess that's still on me. So here we go. Today, seller basics. Hey, Amazon sellers ever faced account suspensions, ASIN hiccups, or IP headaches? Introducing Seller Basics, your Amazon accounts guardian. With just $99 per month or code NORM, $89 a month, not $99, $89 per month. Seller Basics offers a dedicated team to shield your business from these challenges. Plus, this membership offers free legal consultations from seasoned e-commerce attorneys. And there's no long-term contracts, and you can cancel with just a month's notice. You can view Seller Basics as your Amazon accounts health plan, and you can check them out at sellerbasics.com. Now, here's the disclaimers. Seller Basics is not an insurer or law firm. Consultations come from independent firms. Results may vary. Memberships are needed before events leading to the claims, and terms apply. Now, we can get back to the podcast. I didn't even get to introduce you.
I know.
Hold it just a second. And where's the boy Blunder?
All right, there we go. Perfect.
Sure.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Happy Friday. We got Cool Hand 99, Drip Fit, Rad, and AMZ Elite joining us today. Tom, looking forward to seeing you at BDSS. I believe you're going, so that'll be fun. That's coming up next week. Just a quick reminder that we are going to be at BDSS in Hawaii, Kevin King's event. So we've got some pre-records happening, starting off with Kevin King on the Friday. So it's going to be some pre-records. We're going to have to figure out something with the giveaways and how we're going to coordinate that.
Well, the good thing about that is you've already told me that you're 100% going to be up at 6 o'clock each morning listening to the podcast and making sure that the questions are answered and the Wheel of Kelsey is good to go. So I really appreciate that, especially since I know Kevin and I will probably be up till 3 or 4 in the morning, at least smoking some cigars.
Yeah,
every morning.
We'll roll back the tape on that and double check that.
Oh yeah, I heard you say it. I think some of the viewers did too. By the way, I saw that you just sent me over a Skype message before the podcast about next week's story.
Yeah, it's a doozy.
It's a crazy story. If you think that the stories before are crazy, this is just a fun, crazy story.
Yeah, because I remember going to that country club that you mentioned, and I did not know the backstory behind it. But yeah, it's a good one. So make sure you sign up. Links are in the description. We do this every Monday, so yeah, sign up and check out what the story is going to be.
Yeah, and just if you are interested, the newsletter URL lunchwithnorm.beehive.com, and they're pretty. I think they're pretty entertaining. They're between a learning platform and just some edutainment, entertainment. So if you like that style, just kind of a casual style approach, check it out if you haven't already subscribed. And we also have our third Marketing Misfits. I think it's our third Marketing Misfits podcast uploaded next Tuesday, just before we go to Hawaii.
Yes.
And that's going to be a good one as well. And we also have the AI webinar up there, which is just killing it when it comes to views.
Yeah, so I'm going to drop the link to the Marketing Misfits channel. That's where you can find the replay of the AI Summit, but also the episodes of Kevin and Norm's new podcast too. So let us know what you think. Comment, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and yeah.
All right. So like Kelsey just said, if you have any questions or comments, throw them in the comments section. But now it's time to sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee. I just did, and enjoy the episode. Welcome, John.
Norm, happy Friday. Thanks so much.
Happy Friday to you. Whereabouts are you?
I am outside of San Antonio, Texas. So I'm gearing up
okay.
for a hot summer right now.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing about Texas. I go down there all the time, but not to San Antonio. Some of my friends are there. Hi, Amy. But it's Austin. Austin seems the place to be for all this digital marketing. So when are you moving there?
You know, when house prices come down by about 75%, maybe we'll be making that move. But yeah, no, it's definitely the hot spot in Texas.
That is a crazy story, by the way. You know, just seeing what's happened to Austin. I mean, people are still going there, and all these major companies are moving in. I don't know where the hell the traffic's going to go. And like you said, prices are just skyrocketing. So, and we see that here in Toronto as well, but just very different because Austin's a small, big city.
Very much so.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of space and a lot of people coming in. So it's
but still great for food and music.
Oh yeah, awesome scene for sure.
All right, so let's talk Google Ads. First of all, have you seen a big change in Google Ads lately?
Google's always changing, so I feel like every day I could say yes to that. Definitely we're seeing cost per clicks increase for some clients, some industries. So it's always a never-ending battle of dealing with that, and there's always new campaign types and tweaks that Google's throwing at us. So I wouldn't say it's been a game changer, recently per se, but lots of new stuff we're always figuring out every day.
I made a huge mistake 10, 15 years ago with Google Ads with the wrong product. It was my own fault, trying to do it myself, just throwing a ton of money in and losing a ton of money because it was just the wrong product, wrong price point. But is there a price point? We've got a lot of Amazon sellers that listen to the podcast, and they're from $10 items up to $1,000, $1,500 items. What is the lowest price point you should enter into the with Google?
That's a great question. The way I talk about that with clients is lifetime value of that customer. And often we're working with businesses that are sending traffic to their own websites where they have a little more control over that than on Amazon per se. Although obviously there's opportunities in both places. But if it's hey, I've got a $10 price point and that's all I'm going to make from this client, it's going to be, from this customer, it's going to be very, very hard to run profitable Google Ads campaigns for that, because the days of 1 and 2 cent cost per clicks are, a long way in the past. And realistically, you're probably not going to be able to get any kind of volume of traffic cheap enough, to sell $10 and a $10 product and make money from that. If you have a way to parlay that into more customer lifetime value, whether that's repeat purchases or you bring them in with a loss leader product and then sell them other more expensive products down the road, then there's a lot of opportunity. But generally speaking, I would say, a lot of the time, if your price point is less than, let's say, $50, and it's not, a recurring type of product purchase, then it's going to be difficult to make Google work. Not impossible per se, but on the harder side, probably speaking.
That is exactly what I wanted to hear, because that's the number that I use, $50. If you're not out there at $50, then like you said, recurring is a different story. But that's what happened to me. I was selling soap, and I went out there and I was selling single bars of soap. Well, guess what happened?
Google probably spent a lot of your money.
I lost a ton of my money. But here's the thing, and this is why I don't listen to Amazon reps. I don't listen to reps that try to help you out, because their job, you might be 100% different opinion than I have, is to make the company money. I know I blew very quickly $20,000 on an ad campaign listening to a Google rep saying this is going to kill it. And it did. It killed me. I was in the fetal position for a little while till I figured it out. And here's the difference. And I had to do this on Amazon because my soap sells for $10, $4.60 at the time. It was $4.65 was the Amazon fee. My cost of the soap was about $1.40, and I had packaging that just threw in a couple extra pennies, but at the end of the day, I had very little profit. I had to sell a hell of a lot of soap, and it started out almost, let's just try out Amazon, and I did, and I found out very quickly that it was wrong, and I had to regroup. And the way I did it, started to bundle, no more ones.
Yeah.
It was 3s and 5-packs, and there was assorted colors, and it was more holiday driven, especially like on the e-com site, it was a holiday driven product. So that made a big difference. And I guess when you're doing something like this, I really like what I heard when you said that it had one of the options is a loss leader. And that could be that one bar of soap, but a loss leader really helps get your brand out there. And if it's a good brand and it doesn't suck, people are going to come back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you come up with something that's going to be very interesting, very compelling, and dovetails well with other things that you can sell them. So not just, this random product people want, I'm trying to sell, I don't know, I'm trying to sell a piece of clothing and I'm giving out, free earbuds. That's not really gonna make sense. But if it's, hey, here's, get our scented bar of soap, see how amazing this smells and feels in your skin, and then the customer loves that, and then parlays that into, all right, let's get more of this. Let's get gifts for my friends and family and make this our soap moving forward. Then that's where a loss leader can really be helpful in generating that new customer that you can then nurture over time.
Yeah, especially if you can diversify your brand. So, soap might lead into some beauty products. Like if you take a look at Dr. Squatch right now, what they've done, I don't know if that was a good move for them or a bad move for them, but it looked like they expanded into a ton of different products. And if you can do that, and you've got a great product from that initial, just that initial ad, well, hey, not bad. Very little acquisition cost. I want to talk about e-commerce or Shopify stores and Amazon sellers.
Yeah.
So some do both, but what are the differences? What do you have to do differently for each one of those models?
Yeah, we have a lot of clients in our e-commerce side of the business who are using Shopify. I'd say Shopify is the number one most popular e-com platform we use by far, our clients use by far. And there's pros and cons, obviously, if you got your own Shopify website versus your Amazon listings. The beautiful thing about Amazon is how much credibility there is built in, how it's, people are already Amazon customers. So the ease, convenience of purchasing, knowing they can return, all that stuff. There's a lot of pain points and friction points that are removed. The downside, of course, is Amazon fees, not having the same direct connection with the customer, having a harder time to generate lifetime value, and also some limitations on how you can advertise. So, for example, shopping ads that appear on Google, which for most e-commerce sellers are the highest ROI type of campaign they can run. You can't run those for Amazon, but you can run those for your own website. And so generally when we're working with Shopify sellers, the first place we'll start is, awesome, let's use Google Shopping to advertise your product listings, because there you're showing people before they click on your ad, and therefore before they do any money, they're able to see a picture of the product, the name of the product, and the price point. So still, obviously, plenty of people click and don't purchase, but you have a higher rate, a higher conversion rate, generally speaking, than from, let's say, a text ad, because people have a better sense of what they're clicking on to get to your website.
Now, when you're doing your either one of the ads, is there a specific ad that seems to have the better conversion rate right now?
Yeah, so I'll kind of go through the tiers, I would say, of what we're seeing work well types of ads on Google. So the lowest hanging fruit, best performing, generally speaking, is those shopping ads where you're using a product feed, bringing over your product information from your website and importing that into Google Merchant Center, and then running a shopping campaign through Google Ads. Now, you can run standalone shopping ads, or you can run what are called Performance Max campaigns these days, which incorporate shopping ads as well as text ads and image ads on Google's display network and so forth. Performance Max is a very controversial type of ad campaign right now. It works really well sometimes and not really well other times. Generally speaking, it works best if you've got a good volume of orders coming through. Let's say ideally at least 100 orders a month. That way the system's able to learn from what's working and get you more of that. So I'd say shopping and kind of probably Performance Max, depending upon the volume of the seller, would be the best performing right now, generally speaking. Then after that, you've got your regular Google search campaigns with text ads that appear when people search. That would be kind of the next rung up in terms of performing well. Then you've got above that, kind of higher funnel campaigns. You have various YouTube types of campaigns you can run. And we see a lot of success for many sellers right now on YouTube. Generally speaking, it's hard to directly attribute success to those campaigns. So unlike with shopping search, you're often not able to say, okay, we know exactly how many orders came from our YouTube campaigns, because it is higher funnel. It's making people aware. They're not necessarily clicking on the video right then to go purchase, but you're getting them kind of into your funnel and system. And so we'll look at things like media efficiency ratio over time to see, okay, well, how is our overall revenue changing as we allocate different budget into the YouTube side of things? And kind of on par with YouTube, I'd say probably even not as good as YouTube would be just regular, what Google would call Google display campaigns, which are the image ads that you see as you browse millions of different websites online. A lot of those are served by Google, and they're created on the same platform as YouTube ads and shopping ads and so forth.
All right. Now, I'd like to just back up to YouTube for a second. I'd say over the last few months, I've been starting to watch way more YouTube than regular television. So at night, just trying to wind down, on comes YouTube. So there's a bunch of different things I like watching on there. And one thing I was really amazed, because I really I've done YouTube pre-roll ads before, excuse me, but just being part of it, I'm talking maybe watching an hour, a day, maybe a bit more. And this is all at night, but the power of those local ads. Now, this might not have anything to do with Amazon or with your e-commerce. Maybe it does, but locally, when you see, people come on and start talking and you're going, oh, what I live in a, maybe 5,000 person town, and start to see ads for their products on YouTube and how cheap it is. That's unbelievable to me, and why more people aren't doing that. Even the pre-roll stuff again, this is, I think it's very underutilized. And something, unless this has changed, but when I was doing this, you don't have to pay for anything unless it goes over a certain amount of time. And once it does, and I think at that time it was 30 seconds. So my buddy, we used to have a digital agency together, Wilfred Lightheart. And, he had this formula of, okay, let's keep their interest, and then tell everybody to shove off right at the last minute, because, if you're not into this, just get out of here. And that way you'd be left with more captivated audience. And, but I really love it. I know I'm rambling about it, but it's not aggravating like TV. I've pretty much abandoned. There's too many commercials. I do stream TV, I'll see that X-Day on that, but there's no commercials, and I'm tired of 5 minutes worth of commercials. It's just annoying. And this could be also when you're doing something, if you're just going to do an ad and it's crap, that's your response rate. It's got to be creative. You've got to get people's attention. And that's going back to that pre-roll. If it gets my attention, I'm almost like, and I've clicked on the ad to see, or just let it run to see, what's this all about? And I just did this last night with a drone that I thought was pretty damn cool. So anyways, I'm going on. Another thing I want to talk about, I love Google Business Profile. Done a whole course on Google Business Profile. I love Google Business Profile, very underutilized. Does it work, or are there any advantages? I kind of skip this over a lot of the times, but the way that Google Profile, Business Profile, integrates with AdWords, is there any advantages to using it with AdWords?
For local advertising, definitely. So what you can do is you can actually link your Google profile, your business profile, to your Google Ads account. And that enables you to do a couple different things. It gives Google a signal that you have a local presence to the area that you're targeting. And so it gives you kind of an ad rank boost when Google says, oh, someone a mile away from your location is looking for something. Well, I bet you're really relevant to them. So it gives you a boost there. It also allows you to show your Google Business Profile as an ad. So when you see something come up as sponsored in a 3-pack, for example, or if you're on the Maps area and you see, sponsored over there, that is being served via Google Ads and via what they call a search campaign within Google Ads that is linked to the Google Business Profile as a location asset. And that's what enables you to pay to promote your listing. So it's something that we by default we use for almost all of our local advertisers, where that local geographic presence makes a difference for their customer base.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to go back to Google Business Profile. If you're not doing it, do it. You could take a look. I think, Kels, we've done 2 or 3 podcasts on Google Business Profile. It's super important just to get impressions up. It's free. You can put as much time into it, garbage in, garbage out. Let's talk about off Amazon traffic. I know we just touched on it, but how can off Amazon traffic be enhanced through Google Ads?
Yeah, the beauty with off Amazon traffic is having more control, obviously, over every aspect of your website, of your price points, not having to sell Amazon or pay Amazon fees, getting that connection directly with your customers, etc. And so often what we'll see for a lot of our clients, I see a mixture. Sometimes we'll have clients who they started on Amazon and then they said, all right, we need to diversify, be less reliant upon Amazon for our business and feeding our families, and also just have more ability to try and increase our how much we're selling. And so they'll start Amazon first, get that kind of nailed in, and then create their own website and look to start advertising that website through Google Ads, Facebook advertising, etc. And then sometimes we'll see the reverse, where we have a client who started with their own website and then views Amazon as an additional sales channel that they can add on. Often what we'll find is the audience that is reaching Amazon versus your kind of direct website will behave somewhat differently. And I'll speak in broad generalities. Obviously, there's always exceptions to every rule, but generally speaking, the feedback we see from our clients is that their audiences on Amazon are more price oriented. And so sometimes they'll actually have different prices on their Amazon listings than on their website. And they'll use the website to do kind of more brand building, go after those people who care less about purchasing from Amazon, are more interested in going direct to the business. And so they'll really invest into brand assets and kind of the story and the feeling that they're selling along with the product through their own website. The other thing with having your own website is, again, just more flexibility in testing things. So you can easily test, make massive changes to how it works. You can test funnels, for example, where maybe you're not selling your product the first time that someone comes, but you're collecting their email address, or you're having them go through a quiz. You're identifying, here's our free consult. Oh, okay, you would be a good fit for this type of product, that type of product. And so there's just a lot of kind of additional things that you can do with your own website that are limitations on the Amazon platform. Again, the flip side of that is you don't have all that credibility and frictionless checkout from Amazon. And so when you do make that move to your own website, it's critical that you have a plan in place for things like reviews. How can we get reviews onto our website to show credibility? Are there other things that we can add, like Better Business Bureau accreditations and other things to show, hey, we're not a fly-by-night operator. We're a legit place. Just the way that you structure things, even simple things like, do you have typos, on your pages and whatnot? That is something that's an immediate red flag for customers these days, because there are so many fly-by-night e-commerce drop shippers out there that they've been burned by. And they're like, oh, you know what? This looks like it was written by someone overseas. I don't know if I'm going to actually get my product if I purchase from there. So it's really important to have good quality control on that website experience, because there's just not that same trust that people have in Amazon.
Yeah, make sure if you're going to do your copy through AI, make sure you edit it, and if you're not too used to AI yet, just make sure that the style that you're writing in fits the style of your brand. If it doesn't have your personality, don't publish it. We made a mistake in one of our posts that we did. It was a fairly lengthy post, and I looked at it and I was getting all these complaints. People knew it was AI, and it was an oversight. And it was like, holy crap, who wrote this? and excuse me, it was our fault. We looked at it, and it was the message was right. The tone was more like a university professor that a university. How can I even describe? Let's just keep it at university professor that was really wacky. And we've corrected it, and we know how to do it now. But if you don't, people will pick it up right away. And even if you think it's good, you better have somebody else check your copy. And I'm sure you'll probably say the same thing with Google Ads. Just don't let AI go produce it and throw it up there and think because it was AI, it's great.
Absolutely. Another common issue I see when people start their own e-commerce sites is they'll just go and copy paste a bunch of text, product descriptions from other, similar products, or maybe if they're, reselling, white labeling something from, other sellers of that product. And that can be a real problem from a Google compliance side of things. So just like, Amazon loves to shut down accounts, suspend accounts, Google does the same thing. Google suspended between 5 and 6 million ad accounts last year. And I would say they do a lot of suspending in the e-commerce space in particular, suspending Google Merchant Center accounts and ad accounts, for the reason that there are so many of those fly-by-night operators that are not legit businesses, that are just trying to maybe, test out a product, or just they're actually scammers. And so Google's got a whole bunch of things that they're looking at to try to determine if they think a site is legitimate. And they have no problem giving you a red bar of death in your account saying you cannot advertise with Google anymore. And it's so prevalent and common that my company at StubGroup, we have actually created a team that's dedicated to helping businesses out with us. So we have businesses who will reach out to us all the time saying, hey, my Google Ads account was suspended, my Merchant Center was suspended, what do I do? And then we'll walk them through the process of trying to figure out why Google doesn't like them, because Google won't really tell you what the problem is. They just give you very general statements and policies. It won't tell you if you fixed what you need to fix. All you have to do is hope that you got it right, and then appeal, and it's either accepted or declined. And so that's something that for anybody who's listening to this, watching this, if you're thinking about going and creating your own e-commerce website, just be really careful to use original content, have a good structure in place. Don't have coming soon pages or things like that before you start running Google Ads, because once you have a problem, Google views you as guilty until proven innocent, and it's really hard to prove innocent. So just try to get it right the first time.
Similar to press releases, if you have that little pop-up that comes up, It's another way. What did you call it?
That red bar of death.
Red bar of death. And people always try to sneak it in, and they pay if Google catches you. But I remember 14, 15 years ago, my company used to create SEO pages, and we'd get them to the top of the search engine, and then we'd rent them out to local businesses like charter fishermen, dentists, insurance companies. So, back then it was pretty lucrative. And then my son wanted to, go and create video content, and he was excellent, really excellent at it. And he was starting to make some really good money. So every week he'd put up a new video, and he was getting tons of traffic. I'm going, well, how the hell is he getting all this traffic? This is great. He's using my AdSense account, right? And all of a sudden I got that red bar of death. They said that there was fake traffic coming in, and they shut down my whole account. So, and it was for life. It's life.
Yeah.
And do you know how hard it is to get reset up and established with Google? Every time I applied,
intimately how hard it is. Very,
it was
very hard.
horrible. But anyway, and the worst part about it is I just said, yeah, go ahead, use it. I guess that was a bad thing to do, but they seized my bank account. Like, I had to pay everything back.
Wow.
Which sucked. But he didn't have to pay me back. And matter of fact, next time I talk to him, I'm going to chat about that now.
Hey, remember when?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so it is the bottom of the hour. I can see that a couple of hashtags, Wheel of Kelsey's coming in. So just a little bit about that. If this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, at the top of the podcast, we always have a giveaway. And the way that you enter that giveaway is hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. Tag 2 people, you'll get a second entry. And let's see the giveaway today, John. What is it?
Yeah, so we'd love to do a free consultation for someone who's watching this. And what that would look like is, if you're currently running advertising at Google, Facebook, Instagram, etc., we'll take a look at what you're doing and put together a really detailed thought process about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what could be done to improve performance from where you're at right now. And if you're not doing any advertising yet, just thinking about it, we'll talk to you, figure out what your goals are, price points, etc., and put together a little bit of an action plan for if you wanted to get into digital advertising, where we think you'd get the best bang for your buck, and where we would kind of start out working on that with you.
All right, fantastic. So that's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. Tag 2 people, you get a second entry. And I see Tony's been asking a few questions here. We're going to get that up closer to the top of the hour. But if you do have any questions or comments, please throw them into the comments section, and we will get to them probably at around 12:45. Okay, Kels, I'm going to talk about Colin's book. All right, Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. This is a book that my friend published through Forbes. His name is Colin C. Campbell, and this is his entrepreneurial journey. Now, he lays out how to, or just different areas within the entrepreneurial journey, from start, scale, exit, and repeat. He breaks it down, each section, into 4 sections, and then into subsections. It's almost like a reference guide. If you're anywhere in this area, so all of us are in some part of that area right now, I guess I'm describing this right, you can just reference it. But I would suggest reading the whole book. This is an awesome book. It's available on Amazon, Kindle, soft and hardcover, and also on Audible. It's also, I think it's now been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, number 2 for small business. And it's been 15 spots in Canada and the US, number 1. So just check it out. Let us know. I know a whole bunch of you have talked about or read the book and threw it into the comment section before, saying how good it was. And I agree with you. Okay, now let's get back to John. All right. It looks like we're going to have a bunch of questions today. Let's see. Let's talk about some key or best practices for putting together these ads.
Yeah, best practices. So let's start with those Google Shopping ads. The best practice there is Google is data hungry, and they reward you for the more information you tell them about the products that you're selling. So those ads, they're a little bit different than often what you think about with ads on Google, where you say, okay, there's a keyword I want to target, soap. I want to target people who are searching for soap. With your shopping ads, you're not actually giving keywords to Google to target. Instead, you're giving information to Google about what the product is that you sell. And then Google decides what search terms they think are relevant to your products and then shows your products to them. So when you are, let's say you have a Shopify website, you're sending your product data over to your Google Merchant Center account so that you can run those shopping campaigns. A common mistake I see with advertisers make is they'll have product titles that make sense in the context of their website, but that don't make sense as product titles in ads. So for example, let's say, you're Nike, you're selling shoes. Someone who's on the Nike website, they know that they're on Nike's website. So the product title might be something like, red sneaker size 5 or whatever. But if you use that as the product title in your ad on Google, red sneaker size 5, you're not telling Google, hey, we're Nike. Here's what the brand is. People are searching for Nike. So you've got to actually edit those product details that you're sending over to Google Merchant Center and really think through what's a compelling title for this product that I'm selling. What are words, key phrases that people may use when they're searching for it, and then construct a product title that's going to be compelling and contain some of those keywords. A, because that's going to be more compelling to people seeing the ad and therefore getting them to click through. And B, because you're better informing Google about what your product actually is so that they show the right search terms, or they show your ad to the right search terms. And that applies not just for product titles, but for everything else. So there's all sorts of different details that you can send Google about your products. You got the important stuff like price and image and availability, things like that. And then you've got descriptions, you've got product categories, you can tell them what size it is, what color it is, age group, things like that. And generally speaking, the more of that information you can feed into Google, the happier Google is with the product, and therefore the more likely they are to feature you versus competitor. So that's a best practice, I'd say, on the shopping side of things. Across everything, one of the most important best practices you should be doing is tracking conversions, so tracking orders. Because if you are not tracking back to Google what is actually turning into orders, you're going to have no way of improving your ads. You're not going to be able to see, all right, this type of traffic or this product, this is working, this is profitable, making me money. This one over here, I'm spending money to get people to the website, but it's not converting, so I'm not making money. So it's critical that you get that tracking set up so that you can import back into Google Ads how many orders you're getting and the revenue associated with those orders, so that long term you can actually leverage that data for optimizing, and often using Google's automated bidding strategies where you can say, look, here's my target return on ad spend. I'm telling you how much money I'm making from the ads. Go forth and get me as many orders as you can, Google, at this target return on ad spend. And then Google can go and make often better decisions using its machine learning than a human can at figuring out what should you bid for different clicks and should you show up for the search term or not, and so forth and so on.
Have you been keeping an eye on Perplexity?
I honestly can't say that I have. Tell me more.
Check it out. It gives you a more defined search result. So if you're looking for something, it's more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they talk about ChatGPT and hallucination. Sometimes you find that Google does that, and I don't know, but it's gone back and forth. Sometimes when they update, Google, you'll all of a sudden start to see better results, and then sometimes you'll see worse results as they're playing with it in between patches.
Yep.
But with Perplexity, if you check it out, it gives you everything you need about your answer and more, and it's constantly learning. And from what I've read, people are thinking that this is going to overtake Google in search. So check out Perplexity. It's free. They do have, I believe they have a paid version. believe they have so many of these LLMs now. There's paid versions. I don't know how many I'm paying for, but I am paying for a bunch of them. But I've been very impressed with it. I've talked to a lot of people about it. We have our AI Wednesdays. That's been a topic that it is really relevant, good information. And the thing that's crazy is it gets most of its information from Google.
Mm-hmm.
Now maybe this is all going to change when we start using more, or they start using more AI in Google, which they're doing. Let me talk about. We just talked about my red badge of death, or whatever we said. But what are some areas that people can get suspended, and are there different severities of suspension?
There are a lot of ways you can get suspended, and there are a lot of different types of suspensions. I would say that there are different levels of severity in suspensions, or maybe a better way to put it is some are harder to fix than others. Across the board, if you get suspended, it's got the same net effect, which is you are not allowed to advertise with Google until that's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, it's easier to fix one type of suspension than another, but it's generally not easy to fix any of them. It takes a lot of work and perseverance and knowing what Google's looking for and what to fix. I would say some of the most common things that we see that cause suspensions in the e-commerce space in particular would be lack of putting proper policy pages on websites. So things like refund policies, return policies, shipping policies. Google expects that you're being very explicit and transparent with your customers, and that they can easily find that information. So make sure when you build your commerce website, you've got all that information on there, generally link to it in the footer or the header, something like that, so that Google as well as your customers can see it. You also have other common reasons for suspension. This it sounds simple, but it happens more often than you would expect. Google does not allow what they call redirects. So let's say that you're running an ad and you put a URL into that ad. When I click on that URL, it redirects to a different URL. It could even be on your website, not necessarily clicking to a different domain, but just redirecting to a different place on your website. That's against Google's policies.
So even 301s?
Exactly, even 301s. And I've seen that cause suspensions where there's nothing malicious going on. Often the advertiser didn't even know, like the webmaster made a change. Whoever's in charge of advertising didn't even know it happened. And yet Google's like, hey, there's a redirect. We don't allow that because we don't know what's going on that final page. We're not crawling it in the same way as your landing page. So we're going to suspend you. So I've seen that happen. And then two, I would say, not being very clear about your business on your website. So not having your business name, having your contact information, ideally your physical address for your business. Those are data points that Google's looking at to try to differentiate between all of those bad actors and the fly-by-night operators versus the legitimate businesses. And so often one of the many things that we do when we help businesses get unsuspended is kind of help them figure out, okay, what's the correct business information, contact information, way that we should format our About Us page, for example, and so forth, to give Google the confidence that it's a legit business that's not going to be harmful to Google's users.
Yeah, I think it's so important, and it's laid out if you check it out. But the terms of service, privacy, refund, they're all so important, and a lot of the times those are overlooked. And you have to have them up there. I mean, it's the law. You have to do it. And compliance-wise, if you're doing any type of merchandise or merchant processing, you don't have the refund or the type of currency, you could look into huge fines. Like with Visa, I did the compliance course when we were doing one of our products. You can get up to $250,000 fine for not following compliance properly. And so somebody's got to do it. And the other one that I think is so important, and people are getting sued left, right, and center over, is ADA. If you don't have an ADA compliance or app, they range from free to $30 a month, something like that. You're asking for it, especially if you're a small business. They'll hit you up for a $10,000 to $50,000 lawsuit. They'll settle at 10 and they'll move on to the next person. So,
Yeah,
and just want to, that's just a blanket statement. If you have a site out there, make sure you have ADA compliance. It's super, super, super important. I've known just one of our guests on our podcast. I met them at a conference 3 months ago, and it wasn't a little one. It was $125,000 that they ended up having to pay. And guess what? This is another thing. If you're using AI on your website, you better let people know it's AI and not a real human. And I'm talking about with responses in your chat bots. That's what they got nailed for.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
great
super
point.
scary.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see. Was there anything else I needed to talk to you about? I think the only thing I can think of right now, and I think it's pretty obvious, but you can share, if you're working with an agency or if you have somebody on your team, you can share the insights with them, right? They can come in, you can just give them the ability to log in and monitor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can, our best relationships with our clients are where there's a lot of transparency both ways, and where we're able to see, okay, what's working for them in their business. We have access to their Shopify account, for example, and see what's going on. They know what we're doing, and then we're just trying to marry, those worlds together in order to provide the best outcome possible.
All right. And this is going to be how much is a piece of string, or how long is a piece of string. So I'm not holding any answer, but on average, I know this when people come to me for Facebook ads and they want to underspend. It's just like, you're going to throw your money away, but I want to, but I can't afford this, but I can't afford that. You don't give it to me. You're going to throw your money away.
Yeah.
Is there some rule of thumb when you're putting up ads on Google?
There's lots of rules of thumb. Like you said, there's always exceptions and whatnot. In an ideal world, I'd love to be able to get 100 clicks per day from Google Ads. And what that's going to cost, obviously, is going to depend upon how much those clicks cost and what industry you're in. So it's going to be a different budget level for different businesses. But I like to try and think in the terms of volume of data, not necessarily in terms of an exact budget number, because it's that volume of data that's going to let us see what's working, what's not working, and then be able to iterate over time and achieve a client's number. So in terms of tangibly, if you got a gun to my head and said, okay, well, what kind of monthly budget does that look like? Generally speaking, a lot of our e-commerce clients that are kind of brand new and just starting out and testing the market, they'll spend a couple $1,000s a month on Google Ads as they kind of prove concept and figure things out. And then obviously, as we figure things out, the scale beyond there, and we've got clients spending hundreds of thousands of dollars per month on Google Ads. But starting out, probably in that $2,000 to $5,000 range per month is where a lot of people will start.
Sounds reasonable. Okay. All right, Kels, let's go over to a couple of questions.
All right. Yeah, Tony has a couple of questions for us.
What happened to the third question? I thought there was 3.
Yeah, it was more of a comment. So,
okay.
From Tony, do you feel Google has a much lower conversion? People go there for research, not with buyer intent?
That's a great question. On average, if we're comparing Google to Amazon, I would say that yes, Amazon's conversion rate is generally going to be significantly higher, because a lot of the time, if someone's starting their search on Amazon, they have purchase intent. They're looking for what are they going to buy. Whereas with Google, they may have purchase intent, but they also may have more research intent. So the flip side of that, of course, is that if you're only on Amazon, you may be missing out on those people who are doing that research and deciding, what are the 5 best baby strollers to buy? And then they'll end up on Amazon maybe to make the purchase. But if you're not in front of them when they're doing that research, then you're not having the opportunity to, get that traction and get your brand there. So definitely, I would say lower conversion rates for Google on average, and then some flip sides that come with that.
Okay. Next question, Kels.
All right. Again, this is a comment here from Tony. Since I don't have a physical store warehouse location anymore, I've noticed way less traffic to our Google listing. Have you encountered this before? Is this something that you've seen?
Yeah, if you're leveraging, or if you have been leveraging that Google Business Profile and using that, and you had that linked up to Google Ads account, if that no longer exists, or maybe it's now more of a service area, like, hey, we're generally in this area, but we don't have a physical location here anymore. I would definitely expect that to impact local traffic, people in, let's say, 20, 30-mile radius around you, something like that. Google's probably going to be less excited about serving your ads to them versus someone else, because you no longer have that super tight geographic relevance to them.
We've been using Google Business Profile for ranking brands for years.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always had people argue you can't do that. And of course we could. But just recently, this year, they came out when you go and sign up for, the profile, it's retail store now, or if you sell online, and there's a third one as well. But if you click sell online, and I know like Google Business Profile was primarily for local businesses. It's local SEO. If you hit the online store, now it can be more national, could it not? They give you 20 different areas that you could geofence. So has that changed?
I would say there's been some changes, certainly in Google, maybe not being as locally geographically oriented when it comes to those Google business listings. So for example, if you start searching for a company's reviews, there's a very good chance you're going to see their Google business listing come up, even if you're nowhere local to them, because Google thinks, hey, this is, if you have reviews on your listing, this is going to be something that's relevant to show to someone searching for it. So I think it depends on the type of search that you conduct, or that someone conducts when they're looking for you or your products. But I would say, yes, definitely any brand out there, like you mentioned earlier in our conversation, you should go ahead and have a good, well set up, well optimized Google business listing. They're free, so there's no downside to it, and there's definitely some upside opportunities.
All right, fantastic. Your contact information.
Best place to reach out to us, through our website, stubgroup.com. And then we also put out a lot of free video content about Google and other platforms through our YouTube channel. Just search for StubGroup on YouTube, and you'll see us on there.
Fantastic. Okay. Hey, Kels, I'm going to talk a second about marketing misfits. I never talked to you about this before. So don't throw up the other ad. This is the sponsor. All right. So for a lot of you, you've heard me mention marketing misfits. Well, it's out there. The first 2 podcasts plus our AI webinar are available on YouTube. So you can check out Marketing Misfits Podcast. That's the handle on YouTube, and you can check it out. And hey, if you like, give us a review. We always love that. We want to know how we're doing. And it's also on Apple, and it should be Spotify and Google fairly soon. But Apple was the first one to pick it up. So again, if you like your podcast, then go over to Apple and leave us a review. We want to know how we're doing. And that's it. Just check us out. Apple, it's just Marketing Misfits. Now, I do have to, this is a bit of a challenge. There was another Marketing Misfits out 2019. So that's not us. It's just 2024. Okay, just in case you forgot. 2024. And you'll see that there's 2 on Apple right now. So check us out. If you like, leave us a review. And if you have any guests that is a marketing misfit, somebody who broke the rules to succeed, let us know. We'd like to get them on. All right, Kels, let's go to the wheel.
All right, here we go. Here is the Wheel of Kels.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right. Here we go. Thank you, everyone who entered today's Wheel of Kelsey. I'm going to shuffle these up. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
This is going to be a good prize.
And looks like Marina is the big
Marina from Toronto. All right. This is a good one for you, Marina.
All right. Congratulations, Marina. If you can email me, k@lunchwithnorm.com, we'll connect you with your prize.
Okay. All right, everybody. I hope you liked today. John, you were awesome. Great talk. We're going to have you back on. But again, I hope everybody got educated a little bit on Google Ads. If you're not using them, why not? Let's throw it into the WhatsApp group. I'd like to get a conversation going about Google Ads and how you're using them, any tips you have. And other than that, Kelsey, I'm going to see you in a couple hours.
Yeah. I'm coming up to Innisfil. Oh, I just want to share a quick story. If anyone's wondering what my little brother did to get warranted to lose the Google account and get suspended, I posted it here. But basically, him and his friends at school would go to the computer lab, go to his YouTube channel, and just hit the refresh button and just rack up his views. So he had a little view farm happening in a public school. And I guess they tracked it and saw the abnormal views all happening in like the one place, and that's what happened.
Suspended for life, my business account.
Yeah.
But I guess that's on me. All right. The newsletter, the story next week is a lot of fun. You won't believe it. And there's so much more to it. So I'll fill you in. Let's see. Yeah, I won't be leaving until Friday. So I'll fill you guys in on a bit more of the story that I didn't tell in the newsletter, but it's a lot of fun. So let us know what you think. All right, everybody. It's Friday. Enjoy the weekend. And don't forget, you can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Have a good one. All right.